Hi, everybody. What we're witnessing from the Democratic Party right now is a full-blown case of unapologetic delusion. I mean, there's no way you can possibly make this stuff up. The, every time you think that it can't get any worse, it gets worse. I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen, some of the stuff that's been said to me, some of the stuff that I just see in the streets, on social media, you look at it and you just shake your head. And you think to yourself, is this actually real? Are we actually really, how do we get here? Are we really here? I mean, no one has learned from their mistakes so far. That's very discouraging. I don't know how we get a real progressive agenda when no one has learned from their mistake. What's up, Jalen? What's up, Kay? I don't know how we get there. I don't know how we get there with the constant delusion. The constant delusion, the type of delusion that says things like when Mayor de Blasio, when the New York Mayor Bill de Blasio mentions something like that Bernie Sanders would have crushed Trump. Then you have people coming up to me saying, "Well, how when he couldn't even defeat Hillary Clinton?" As if that primary thing was fair to begin with. That kind of delusion, I've about had it with that type of delusion. I've had it. And then there's also, I'm not joking, even to this day, people are inboxing me, blaming me for Hillary Rodham Clinton losing. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Stacy? Blaming me for Hillary Rodham Clinton losing. Literally, blaming me. I'm just a southern kid from Alabama. And you think I have that much power to affect the outcome of an election? You think if you really think progressives have that type of power, then it's about time that you start taking progressives serious. Because we're going to do this again. If this is not something that we're going to just fall back in line this time. No, going forward, if they put a corrupt establishment candidate like Hillary Rodham Clinton in front of us again, we'll vote for a third party again. We're willing to lose an election. I mean, I literally had folks saying that, you're in the tank for Donald Trump, so me and you can no longer talk or be friends or associate with each other. Really? We really there? Really? First off, I'm not in the tank for Donald Trump, but really? Our political ideologies have to really, you have to separate political ideologies. I have friends that vote for Donald Trump, and I have friends that voted for Hillary Rodham Clinton. I have friends that was against the war in Iraq, and I have friends that was for the war in Iraq. It's all about separating ideologies, but being on the right side of the issue. I'm not gonna get in the situation where I'm gonna start splitting people up, dividing us up because I disagree with you about a particular issue. I'll fight you on an issue. I'll rail against you on that issue, but personally, I'm never gonna let that intertwine with each other. That destroys movement. Hillary Rodham Clinton and Donald Trump are still friends to this day after this election. There's no need for anyone out there to be falling out with people that they've been knowing their whole life or been knowing for a very long time. It doesn't make any sense. And don't get me wrong, there's always been fights inside movements. There's always been, I'm pretty sure MLK and them had fights inside the civil rights movement. There's always a fight. There's always a fight where some want to push this agenda, some want to push that agenda. Or some want to completely go green, or some want to try to take over the Democratic Party. It's always those fights, but as long as we keep the method, don't get the method mixed with the objective, we can never go wrong. Never put Malcolm X once said, if we agree on objectives and don't get too caught up in the method of how we get there, then we'll get there. We won't. We agree on objectives, we'll get there. The objective is for a progressive agenda. The Vote Blues out there, we hope that their objective is a progressive agenda. Right now they're just in constant denial and blaming everyone but themselves. How about blame the rich and powerful? How about blame the people that actually have the power when it comes to the outcome of an election, before you blame the people that have no power when it comes to rigging the primaries or rigging any election? How about we start there? But we can't get there though. That's the part that I find astounding. is that we have people out here that wants to constantly talk about how bad Trump is and what bad Trump's going to do while requiring the Democratic Party to do nothing, while requiring the Democratic Party to bring nothing to the table. That's how we got here. That's how we got a Donald Trump presidency. And you know what else, though? You know what else? From what I seen in his speech the other day, I don't know if you guys seen his speech the other day, Trump's going to be tough to beat in 2020. Based on the establishment not learning this lesson, based on the establishment still trying to gaslight its base and blame everyone but itself, based on that, I don't necessarily see, I don't see it. I don't see it because I don't agree with Donald Trump. I oppose Donald Trump, but his rally, if he's going to do these type of rallies like this, unconventional, throughout his presidency, he's going to be to keep his base engaged, guys. His base is going to be engaged. His base is going to be engaged, and he's going to be tough to beat. This guy is a classic entertainer. He's good at what he do. I mean, I literally seen him out there saying things like, yeah, I had reporters. You know, I talked to a few reporters. I won't name any names. I don't like them that much. And the crowd just bust out laughing and hurrah. Yeah. You guys try to run an establishment campaign against this guy, you will get crushed. If you guys try to say, oh, no, he's crazy, no one can possibly vote for him again, you're crazy. And Courtland warned you guys to begin with. When she said it's funny how Hillary is winning all the states that she don't have a prayer to win in the general election while Bernie's racking up all the swing states. That firewall. Even Trump even mentioned a firewall the other day. And I'm sitting here forced to agree with Donald Trump again. I don't like being put in that position, folks. But Donald Trump said, what happened to that firewall Hillary Rodham Clinton talked about? It turns out that firewall was a firewall for me. Yep. Once again, I'm stuck with not being able to disagree with him. His campaign managers, they had a fight. They had a battle back and forth. The campaign staffers on the Clinton side and the campaign staffers on the Trump side. They had a clash. You know, Trump. I mean, the Clinton side was saying that, you know, you use fear, bigotry to get into office, and then the Trump side was saying, oh, really? I mean, how about run a better message? You guys can't run a better message? You couldn't run an economic message to reach anyone? Not to say that Trump didn't do a lot of bigotry and racist things, because I would never get on here and not say things for what it is. He used bigotry and racist to get him in office in some ways. But everyone that voted for him was not racist. I can't sit here and say that. People that voted for Donald Trump voted for President Obama. And a lot of Senator Bernie Sanders supporters voted for Donald Trump because he was the only establishment candidate left. It was an anti-establishment movement, and they couldn't see it. Constant gaslighting, and then now delusion. And they wonder why we're where we are today. We're in a situation where we watching the talking heads, and they see Trump wants to get an infrastructure bill passed, of course, and you know, progressives are down for an infrastructure bill, and historically, Democrats have been down for an infrastructure bill. But then what did Governor Ed Rendell say? Former Governor Ed Rendell of Pennsylvania. What did he say? Yeah, we agree with the infrastructure bill, you know, but this stuff has to be paid for. There we go again. It has to be paid for. We have people in high offices, are former governors, are members of Congress that still thinks taxes fund federal spending. You have some that literally don't know. Then you have some that are actually just lying to us, misleading the public. We all know that. We all know this to be the case. Lying to us. I want an infrastructure bill, and I don't want it to be paid for, period. Taxes don't fund federal spending. Yes, if that's what it takes, yeah, I want to run up the deficit. Yeah. Then they get out there and say things like, well, do you think it's okay to just print money, blah? Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay to print as much money as you want to print up into the threat of uncontrollable inflation. Up into the threat of uncontrollable inflation. And I've even had people to say, yeah, you know, I personally, think that we should still be on the gold standard. Really? And my question was why? Well, I don't like the idea of, just being able to print money. So this particular person had already said that threw grease in my face. A country that is pegged to something. And now they're advocating for us to be pegged to something. So what happened to Greece can happen to us. And what they really don't realize is, yes, your dollar had to be backed by gold prior to 1971. But what they failed to realize, and what the wrong Pauls failed to realize is, Congress, even at that particular time then, decided how much gold backs up each dollar. So it wasn't just a clean, this amount of gold backs up this amount of dollar. Even back then, Congress had the authority to decide, well, how much gold actually backs up a dollar. So they had, little ways to kind of manipulate it through. But we had a lot less policy space to work with during those times. But it's not so much about getting people to appreciate economics. They don't care. They don't care. But they like to say that they care about free college, health care. The stuff I see on these posts, guys, if I told you the stuff that I see on these posts, okay, I'll tell you. We've seen some people say things like federal taxes are smuggled out of the country and then smuggled back into the country to pay for real estate and things like that. And then you have some morons that want to end the Federal Reserve, end the Fed. It sounds great for a bumper sticker. End the Fed. That's all you're going to get. End the Fed. I once had somebody text me and told me the Rothschilds own the Federal Reserve. You remember what they told us about them full cup people? When stuff is just spilled, the cup's already full, and if you try to pour anything else in it, it's just going to spill out all over you. Stay away from those people. Don't try to even get in a debate with those people. Those people aren't willing to learn. They literally not there in good faith. They're only there to drive you crazy, troll you. I rarely delete people off social media. I'm pretty patient. I'll take as much as any of them can take. I'm pretty tempered, even keel. But when I do delete somebody, and then you search for me to troll me, like, wow, we really have a problem here, don't we? And then when you put information out in front of them about how taxes don't fund federal spending, and they say, well, no, I need proof. After we posted link after link after link. Really? Link after link. I don't have the patience for those type people anymore. I'm not going to sit there and waste my time trying to fill a full cup. It doesn't work. I don't want to get it all over me. You don't want to get it all over you. So to those out there that are trying to explain MMT to people that just refuse to listen, screw them. Move on. There's plenty of people out there that want to learn. You can tell who wants to learn and who doesn't. You can tell. And you know what? It's kind of odd that I think that Republicans just may be more receptive to MMT than Democrats. Imagine this, guys, and I'm guilty of this too. You notice how Republicans never balance budgets. They always spend a lot of money, but some kind of way they always blame us for running up the debt. And they blame us for running up the debt and have us the only oddballs out trying to cut deficits. You notice that? Listen, I've been one of them. I've been one of them where Republicans don't try to balance budgets, which they shouldn't, because taxes don't fund federal spending. But some way, they try to make us, they put us into a box and make us think that we have to cut deficits. I'm out there bragging, yeah, we cut the deficit, blah, blah, blah. The deficit is falling at the fastest rate since World War II. Yeah, I've limited that type of thing before. I've been there before. But I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to admit when I was wrong. I was wrong about that. And the fact that Republicans always somehow way able to never worry about the deficit, which they shouldn't, but somehow, some way they convince Democrats when they get in power, they got to cut the deficit. You notice that, guys? I mean, Republicans are already doing MMT anyway. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to give them too much credit. They do it on the military, though. And then when it comes to the military, they don't. What did Dick Cheney say when we was going through the Iraq War? deficits don't matter. He was right. I don't think he realized why he was right, but he was right. Deficits don't. We talking about numbers on a spreadsheet. Numbers on a spreadsheet. The amount of money that went into the economy and the amount of money that's taxed out of the economy and deleted because your taxes don't pay for federal spending. Taxes are, and it's not a situation where the government just print money. No, they literally change the value on the computer. They literally change the numbers on the accounts. Ben Bernanke has said this many times. Former Chairman Ben Bernanke has said this many times while under oath. We literally just change the value that's on the account. And yes, we can print as much money as we want to print up into the amount of uncontrollable inflation. So you guys out there that are saying things like, money growth causes inflation. That's not necessarily true. What is true though is that we have to make sure there's enough goods into the economy for those dollars. As Alan Greenspan once said. Alan Greenspan said that there's never a situation where we're going to worry about not being able to pay our bills. The federal government can always pay its bills. Social Security will always be there for us. We just have to make sure that we have enough assets available for those checks, for that cash to pay for. That's what this was all about. It was about that. It's not a situation where the federal government is like revenue constraint. We need a balanced economy. The Republicans like to talk about a balanced budget amendment. Really, that will literally kill the economy. Literally send us probably to another Great Depression. Literally. But what about a balanced economy amendment? Balanced economy amendment. Think about this. I don't know how many of you guys out there follow the NBA. But in the NBA, after they got this giant TV deal to where the owners get like 50%, and I think the players get 49 or 50% of the TV deal. So it means that there's a lot of salaries in the National Basketball Association, where a lot of players, even your lower tier players, that not necessarily just the LeBrons. Of course, the LeBrons get their money, but those that are under the LeBrons, and even under those, are getting like 60, 70, $80 million contracts. And the reason for that is because the TV deal has went up. The money has skyrocketed. The cap, the NBA cap has went up. Okay, keep that in mind. So, if you're an NBA franchise, what you have to do, and what the NBA requires you to do, is you are required to spend a certain amount of dollars. That way, no team is in a situation to where they're not putting a quality product on the floor. They're actually paying people, actually paying the players, because that money goes to the players. So, if the federal government was required to meet the floor, like the NBA is required, they have to meet the floor. They have to spend so much dollars out of their salary cap to meet the floor. The federal government should be required to spend so much dollars into the economy to meet the floor. There should be a certain amount of money that should be required to be spent into the economy every year. That way we don't have to have these fights no more. We don't have to have these stupid, foolish fights like the debt ceiling. Because no, it's signed into law. It's an amendment. You literally have to spend so many dollars into the economy based on the sector balances. That's literally, well, that's how it is. But it should be law that they have to do that. Law. If they did that, yeah, Jalen, I did mention the Rothschilds. I mentioned how there are a lot of people out here that when you try to talk to them about economics, the first thing they mention is the Rothschilds. Those are the full cup people. I don't want to spend too much time on that. But yeah, if the federal government was required to spend so many dollars into the economy, that literally solves a lot of our problems. So I really think we should go for a balanced economy amendment. Hijack the Republicans' idea. Well, that's not the Republicans' idea, but they little notion that they want to have a balanced budget amendment, which is insane. Let's have a balanced economy amendment to where the government is required to spend so many dollars into the economy, so many dollars on infrastructure. That's the way it should be. That's how we get there. That's how we get to a real progressive agenda. And then the full cut people, you have to learn to not waste too much time on them, because they will drag you down and it will literally exhaust you and frustrate you. And to those that still inbox me about being in a situation where I some kind of way elected Donald Trump, I don't know. All I know is when I voted for Jill Stein, one vote went to Jill. There was no magical vote that went to Trump or Clinton. There was no magical vote that went to the person that you opposed if I voted for a third party. It's insane, guys. It's really insane. So remember, constant delusion will kill progress. Constant delusion. And in one place that we have constant delusion are misinformed people in economics. It's in economics. It's in our politics. It's all around us. We're in a situation where they treat you and I like we're the crazy people. It makes you wonder sometimes, just from a TV perspective, damn, what if Joker was the bad guy? Was the good guy, and Batman was really the bad guy? Think about it. Think about it. Hey, Kelly. What's up, Troy? Roll Tide, Patricia. Think about that. I don't know. They say they want to pass, they want health care, they say they want all these policies, but they still want to spew bad policies. They want to spew bad ideas when it comes to economics. I don't know. We just have to keep pushing forward and just do what they said we couldn't do. I'm Kendall Sen Sullivan. I'm going to leave it there. Have a great night, guys. Peace, and I'm out.